Hello, hi everyone. You're welcome to Let's Discuss, a program of Unbox Praise. Welcome everyone. I hope you had a wonderful week. Let's Discuss is where we talk about real issues in a practical way, where we explore topics and review them from a Christian perspective and ensure that at the end of the day, we're aware of things that we may be unaware of. We know things that we may not know before, and we can take things further and improve on things which we may not have known before. Today, I'm really excited because we have a special guest in our midst, all the way from Brussels in Belgium.
Yes.
Elma, you're welcome
Thank
to
you.
Unbox Praise. Yeah. And for some of you watching us later, feel free to like, share, and we would be sharing things in the link as well. We'll be sharing links about the program, sharing links about where you can get help, where you can interact with the guest speaker, so that we can all have value from this. And those of you watching this later, feel free to still reach out. The program may have ended, but we still have that window. Don't be shy, reach out, ask questions, and God will bless us all in Jesus' name. And for the usual guests and members, you know the drill. Feel free to like, share, comment, and collaborate, and God will bless us all in Jesus' name. So, Elma, thank you so much for attending this. It's for me like a dream come true, because, and I'll share with everyone later how I met her. I believe it's totally inspired. It was God that created that interaction, because how else would I have known someone who is in Belgium? We've not spoken before. But when God connects people, he makes a way. So you're welcome to the program. Today we'll be talking about a very important topic, and I'll share my personal stories about this later on this topic in today's session. Mind games. The mind plays different types of games on us. And one of the sad aspects of it is suicide. Let me just, before we get Emma on board, let me just paint a picture of some of the statistics that are floating around. WHO, World Health Organization, says that more than 700,000 people die every year due to suicide. Just imagine that. That means in the last 10 years, more than 7 million people have died due to suicide. And they also stated clearly that only about 80 countries are reporting. That's less than half. And even in some countries, the reporting isn't that robust. So this 700 could be like a best estimate or best lower estimate than the true number. More alarming, it said 1 in 100 deaths is by suicide. And if we think about things like COVID, we know that I don't think it really hit the 1%. So this is 1% has that impact. And for people thinking this is for just the Western world, the statistics shows that 77 occurs in low and middle income. And there's one statistics I have, and I'll stop sharing after this. It says in Africa, because one of the thinking we have usually in places like Africa is that suicide isn't common. But according to the WHO, he said the suicide rate in Africa is even higher than the global average, which means there's a lot there. So what's your views on this whole mind games, how the mind tricks us to doing things we don't want to do, weighs us down, and takes us to a state where we're either not happy with ourselves or with the world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for this invitation. And it's very important subject to talk about. And let me first share with the viewers, I'm a suicide survivor myself. And so I'm talking also from out some experience. It is 15 years ago, 2007, I jumped off the fifth floor to end my life. And thank God I'm still alive. I almost died, but I'm still alive, and I thank God for that. From a background, so I will talk from out my own experience. I will talk also from my background as a therapist, theater therapist, since I was in my 20s, and I will talk also from out my later in life when I was 40. I did also theological studies, so I combine these three to serve you now, the viewer, to talk something about suicide, prevention suicide, um, mind games, mental health. When I start praying, meditating about this subject, first thing that came in my mind was that we should not forget that we are spirits in a body and we have a soul. So, a human being complete, we are spirit, body, and soul. And to be in a good health and to have a good mental health, these three things have to be in good health. These three aspects of our being have to be in balance also. Because time is limited, I really felt strongly in my heart that for this evening, the subject is more concentrated on the emotions and on the feelings. And feelings, emotions, they are settled in our soul. Um, from the 60s, 70s, 1916, 1917, this is the time that revolution started, emancipations, people getting wild, changing ideas about typical male role and female role. And there started also the time changing about how we look at emotions, typical for women and typical for men. But still in 2022, I sense when I talk with clients, when I talk with people who are in a depression or are suicidal, I still sense two, well, let's say roughly two groups. First group, they have still the same problem than in the year 60, 70. These are ancient things, are so deeply rooted in us that it's still the same thing. That is roughly one group. And the other group is they got free from it, but because now we're talking about the people who have problems, mental health problems, depressions, etc., they go to the other side of the ancient thing. So let me clarify. Typical for women, let's say, women can cry. It's a cliche, and men can be angry. And so now the woman can have problems to get angry, and the man can have problems to cry. This was the first thing, started changing. But still,
Hmm.
I sense that a lot of men, they are in this prison that it's difficult for them to cry, to show their emotions. Still, there's an ancient thing like you're not a real man if you cry. So that's the first thing we have to get rid of. That is ancient things. People who are free from this, men who can cry, if they go to the other side in the problem area, then it can be the man who becomes too soft. Now he's always emotionally, and he's so sensitive that he becomes like not the man able to be the head of a family and to guide, to be a leader, to guide. So that is the rotten fruits of emancipation or of feminism. And that is when it goes to the other side of the, excuse me for my English, yes, I'm
No
better.
worries. Yeah, we're getting the message.
Sometimes I use more words to explain what I want to say because I just don't know the word. But I think you sense where I get to. So for women, it's same. Like the ancient thing is they are not allowed to get angry. But if you're not allowed to get angry, the emotion will be there because things happen in life what makes us angry. So now if you're not able to express this anger, these emotions will get back to you and it will attack you. It will destroy you yourself. So instead of freely expressing it without hurting someone, we're talking about expressing emotions in a healthy way, not that it's important, limits. If you're angry, you should know you're not going to attack physically someone. So we're talking about expressing anger in a healthy way. You know the limits. You're not going to attack the other person you're angry with, but just to release your heart, to release your soul, to release your mind. Then it's a healthy thing. If you don't do it, it will destroy yourself because the anger will go into your body and it will destroy your body, your soul, your mind. That is a typical ancient problem that women had before, but still, as a woman who are still in the same problem in 2022. Now, the other women who are free from this problem, the other area problem is that they become too tough. And now they become like they have a sense. You say she lost her female,
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
the exactly that the softness is gone. That this now like a real tough person.
Yeah, and her charm and this. So because we're talking about mental health and mind tricks, now we know if you're educated in traditional family and they say like men should not cry, women should not
Mm,
be angry, then maybe later in your life you hear, but it's not a problem. You can cry as a man, and you hear as a woman, it's not a problem.
yeah.
You can get anger, but now the mind games starts in your mind. It starts
Wow.
what is happening, what is true. You don't know it anymore. It will provoke
Wow.
confusion, and it will.
Wow.
This is one of the things can provoke depression also.
Wow.
If depression is really, really deep, 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 and you don't get out of your depression, it will lead to suicide.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. No, thank you. This is a really profound way because when people are looking at problems, they're looking for how to a quick fix as opposed to understanding what is actually leading to it in the first instance. And I can see how, from how you've described it,
mm-mm,
how, what you said is nothing's really changed in the last 60, 70 years. But because of those shifts in ideology and approach, people are now sort of the games are starting in the mind because the people have not changed from who they are, but because they now feel there's a certain role they need to portray, there's now that suppression of the natural self, which then causes like a volcano. And because it's not, there's no way to express it or release those feelings. Because I grew up as well in a culture where one of the things is that men shouldn't cry. So when you get punished in school or at home, the tough thing in quotes or the masculine thing is you don't cry, even though
mm,
you're feeling a lot of pain. And I can
mm,
see how that for men will build up because you feel you can't share your emotions freely. And for
Mhm.
women, they're told it's okay to cry, but don't be angry. And a lot of people will be going through things and not sharing it. But thank you. That's really, really useful insight.
I think there are healthy people, so
Mm,
they don't have this problem.
mm,
They are really imbalanced. You have balanced women and you have balanced men, and it's not problem at all to cry, to be angry. All the emotions you can have to express them freely. So we're really talking now about something which leads to mental health problems and
mm.
mind games.
Yeah, okay.
Just to be sure that
Yeah. Yeah. There was something in the statistics, and I would want to get your view on. To be honest, that really got me
mm,
scared. It
yeah.
states that suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among 15 to 19-year-olds. And why is this happening? Because one will feel between the age of 15 and 19, they're still young and they've not experienced the pressure of workplace. They're not sort of being paid salaries or looking after people. Why is this? For me, I
Mm.
found it really
Yeah.
disturbing when I saw it.
It is disturbing indeed. And it should be like you say, this should be the periods in your life that you don't worry. You just have fun, you go to school, and
Mm,
for the rest, you
yeah,
have fun with your friends, you have free time, no things to worry about life. Parents taking care of you, etc. It should be like that. But why it is not like that anymore? Because the world is going bad. And so yeah, so these young people, they see what happened and they say, what kind of future do we have? Like
mm,
they're afraid. Well, we as a Christian, we have another point of view, but they are bombarded with climate change. Like there will be water and you will be drawn in the water. The ice from Antarctica, it will come, it will destroy you, or there will be fires
yeah,
because it will be too hot and it will burn you. And
yeah,
they grow up like that. What kind of future do they have? They grow up now. There was, of course, also the COVID-19 period. Now
yeah,
you're young. All of a sudden, you are isolated in your house. You don't
yeah.
see your school friends anymore, and
Mm,
you expect it's only getting worse because COVID-19, it takes 2 years, and then there's another disease which is announced, like the
yeah,
apox. And
yeah.
so this starts worried. What kind of world are we living in? People have no time for each other. If you have a problem, everyone is busy, everyone is occupied.
Mm,
So these young people, they don't even find someone who can listen to them, who can share maybe their life experience. Okay, maybe it looks like this, I should really worry, but trust that life will bring you good things. And
mm,
like all the people can share, like I know what I'm talking about, finally it will all
yeah,
go well. But
yeah.
these people, like uh, who should fulfill this role in their lives, they don't have time for that anymore. They're occupied
Wow,
all of the time.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. That's so true because I look at myself as an example. Growing up, I had a lot of support. Um, Parents, auntie, relatives, the church. You'd have the pastors. You'd have even the school. You have friends. And when you were talking, I was looking at some youths as well from my perspective to say, well, how much support are they really getting? And the way you've expressed it is just so clear why
Mm.
a lot of us are the older generation may be disconnected from the youths because we feel they are on another sort of like mental wavelength, but actually what they need is that guidance, someone to hold their hands, to put the hand over their shoulder and tell them that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Uh,
serious problem.
yeah. So we had a contribution from Professor Emeritus. He said, sadly, psychology, which appears to explain the working of human complex nature with regards to external forces, is lacking relevance in the third world nation like ourselves. It's a discipline that can greatly that can help greatly when its application is put in ministry workplace. And I agree with him as well, because things like that we're talking about, expressing emotions, having people to guide you, there are things that, especially in third world countries, are not seen as being important. The view is always do the best you can, no matter the conditions you're facing. You just have to excel in order to have hope for yourself and your family.
Yeah.
Um, how does this really impact? Because we can see from the statistics that the suicide rate
Yeah.
in Africa, where a lot of this non sort of like compliance or non-interest in psychology, suicide rates are really higher. But what do you think the church can do about this? Because I've been to some places where mental health issues are being demonized. It's
Yeah.
there isn't any program to help people who are either experiencing challenges or need guidance in certain areas.
Yeah.
What's your view around that?
Well, there are some reasons behind. I think one of big reason, people in churches, especially the Pentecostal evangelistic churches, were so occupied with Jesus is coming soon. We have to win souls, and
Mm,
so you're always thinking about that and how to win new souls, which is indeed very important, and which is indeed the first commando that our Lord himself gave to us. Yes, so I'm not
mm,
going to discuss the words saying
yeah,
contradictory to that.
yeah.
In the same time, it can be the cause that you don't see what is happening anymore with a brother and a sister next to you. He has been
Mm,
already for 5, 6, 7, or 10 years,
wow.
or maybe whole life next to you in the
Mm,
church. You forget
yeah,
about them. You don't
yeah.
listen to them anymore. So it's a
Wow.
lack of interest, maybe, also forced by time, because we are short in time. We have
Yeah.
to decide this time we're going to win a soul, but maybe this time you should, instead of winning for 1 hour souls for new soul, maybe listen 1 hour to the person next to you who's sitting there.
Mm,
That
wow.
is,
Oh,
yeah, that can be a serious problem.
mm,
Other problem is that Christians can be judgmental. So now you're in God, so everything is fine, everything is well. We are always going up, up, up. We're never going down. We're always positive. We proclaim the words. You have a question, you proclaim the word, you proclaim a Bible text, and for the rest, shut up. So if you are, that is terrible, especially when you have a health problem, mental health problem. That can even, yeah, it can even make the situation worse, because you uh, don't feel well already. Now
yeah.
this is the answer you get from the Christian next to you, sitting next to you. So you think, I'm really not normal, so I cannot share. I cannot
Yeah.
share. I'm down. I cannot,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm not a good Christian when I'm down. It's a lie from hell. It's a
Mm.
lie from hell.
Yeah.
You Life is life. We have all our ups, we have all our downs, and it's totally normal, and we have to be honest first.
Mm.
You have to be honest to yourself. Don't lie to yourself what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and
Mm.
then don't lie to the brother or sister next to you. How are you? Oh, I'm
Mm.
so fine by the grace of the Lord. Five
Mm.
minutes later, you're home, you're crying, you don't know where to
Mm.
go.
Mm.
That's terrible.
Wow, wow. There's something, that I'll chip in here as well, because when Jesus was defining why he came, one of the things he said is he's come to heal the brokenhearted. And I don't really see that in a lot of the things in churches. And for us, this is more of encouraging ourselves that, because some people listening to this are church leaders, that please let us begin to incorporate some of this. And even if the church as a corporate organization doesn't do it, we should be encouraging others to begin to look out for people. Because, like you said, they love people who are going through things and
Mm.
they they don't say. I want to also ask a question, which how do we, the people going through things, because like you said, the judgmental part, I've seen that a lot.
Mm.
Where people are judgmental and one is having a mental challenge or you're going through a lot of things that are pulling you down,
Mm.
how how do people navigate that? Because some people would say, well, yes, we would like to talk to people about our challenge, talk to people about our problems, but the people around us will judge us or wouldn't supply any help, or we've tried in the past and it's ended up being worse. What would your advice be around that?
Yeah, so we have to go back to sit down and listen to each other, and don't come immediately with the good advice. Don't come immediately with your own opinion, or maybe don't come with your own opinion at all. Is often even better. Uh, it depends on what degree is the depression, because there are different levels. It can be like a light depression. It can be like so much deeper and more deeper and deeper. So first of all, it depends on what kind of level of depression you are, and it depends also what is the cause of your depression. um, it can be like maybe a divorce, and most probably that is true. It's a really hard thing, but most probably you will get over it in time. So that's not depression for a life. But if it's that's the same for mourning. It can take a long time, but in the years you will get over it. Maybe for someone a little bit shorter, longer. But if it's, for example, demonic possession, demons who came into your body, it
Mm,
demands a whole kind of different treatment. Then,
mm,
for example, don't sit down and listen to this person who is demonic possessed, because the demon will answer through this person, and you will only lose your
yeah,
time.
wow. Mm,
So
mm,
we also have to discern what
mm,
what is happening. This person who has this
wow.
mental health problems, what is behind. If it's
Mm,
demonic possession, you have to have these servants of the Lord, whether it's a pastor or another person, or the title doesn't matter, but who has the gift of deliverance. Then you should go there. If it's
mm,
just like a loss, then often it can help just express your heart, express your feelings, someone listening to you, you're crying because you lost your husband. Yes, it can help that someone will get next to you and that you're not alone for a while. So it
Mm.
depends. It depends really on the situation.
Wow. Wow.
Did
No,
I answer
thanks.
to your question?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And what you've stated there is also very important, that there's a need to discern, and as opposed
Yeah,
to just prescribe a template you've used or something you believe. It's understanding what's ahead of you, which is why, like you said, which is why Jesus used different techniques for healing and things like that.
yeah,
I also wanted to ask about a certain, because at times in Christianity, people in some cases they don't commit what I would call, I don't know if this term exists, direct suicide. They commit indirect suicide. So I have firsthand of a brother who, because things were not really working out in his life, he had high blood pressure and things like that. He was on medication. Because things
mm,
were not working out, he stopped using that medication.
yeah,
So he would argue that I'm not committing suicide,
mm,
but technically, if
mm,
you have a condition and you stopped using it for because things are not going fine. So it wasn't because he was using faith or anything. Things
mm,
were so bad that he just sort of gave up. And a few people who, due to circumstances, they just give up,
yeah,
even though they are still alive.
yeah.
How do we approach such? Is my term correct in terms of, because they didn't commit
I agree with
direct
you.
suicide? Yeah.
Yeah, and another example is anorexia. You stop eating. It's
Mm,
not fasting anymore. You just stop eating, and it will take about 10 years, and you die.
wow.
That's a slow form of suicide. It's just that you
Mm,
don't kill yourself
yeah.
actively, but you kill
Yeah.
yourself in the time. That's another example. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
wow.
So we have to discern also if something like that is happening. The example you give, the brother don't take the medication anymore. The person who really uh, stops eating beyond fasting, then we have to be alert. We have to be alert, and we have to. Well, first thing is prayer. You pray. I think often in these cases for these people it's difficult to listen.
Mm,
You can confront them and say, but this is slowly suicide. I don't i don't really think that they will understand, so I don't really think that will help. So you have to be
mm,
more inventive to look for other ways to help this person. As a matter of fact, this person, in any case of suicide, I think, has to get back. So if where is the active suicide or the slow 10 years
mm,
example, this person lost one way or another him or herself. So
yeah.
you have to come back to yourself. Who am I? What
Mm,
is my aim in life? What do I
mm,
want? You have to get back to complete restoration of these things. And then uh like I started our interview, we are spirits in a body, we have a soul. So you start treating these three things. The one who stops medication, why he gave up, what was
mm,
happening.
mm,
And I maybe immediately help with someone for in the area where this person is suffering, or is it sometimes people just don't know, for example, how to I think a lot of people also suffering from isolation. We are
Mm,
so alone, even if you're amongst people. So um in a, people need a body, they need a body. People need someone who get close to someone. I don't say it's a solution for every problem, but it can help. This person lost hope, don't like his life anymore. Go out and have some fun. But what is the thing? What the person could have fun for before he started
mm,
slowly killing himself? So you have to
yeah,
be next also to a person to discover what is happening in her life, in his life.
yeah. Wow. No, thank you. So I think this is so packed. I actually feel we might need to do like a full webinar on this because
Yeah.
this is a really important question, like we were talking about just before.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't anticipate a lot of people would want to give comments on this topic because it's something that is very emotive, emotional. And
Mm.
secondly, which is why I sort of appreciate everyone that's contributed so far. At times, when you contribute on topics like this, it's seen as supporting weakness in some areas, in some cultures. It's seen as endorsing what's not. So a lot of people tend to avoid the topic, which is a shame. But we thank God you've been able to shed the light on this. And I'm sure there is, even if it's just one person that turns around from this and gets help where needed, I think it's been worthwhile. I just wanted to tell people as well how I met Elmer. It was divine. I, someone that I know committed suicide,
Mm.
um, and very young person, and it was quite distressing. So for me that day, and I felt, wow, this is so sad.
Mm.
And I was now in my spirit, I was saying, are there no groups or is there no one really praying for this? Because
Mm.
when we're talking about prosperity, when we're talking about healing,
Mm.
when we're talking about different things, there is a full representation. But things like suicide, and I began to check, I was restless.
Mm.
And that's how I came across your prayer group, and which you've been doing faithfully for the Lord. And I would say God will continue to strengthen you. I'll share
Mm.
the details and put it in the link as well. Okay, I think there are a few comments coming in. I'll share the details and put in the link as well. So if anyone,
Mm.
if you want to talk to someone about it, is reach out to her. She's kindly offered to give a listening ear to whatever is going on. She's someone who is not just a psychologist, she's a child of God, a Christian. She actively
Mm.
prays. And I would like to encourage everyone. I know I started, but ended up not continuing, but God will strengthen me to also join in praying for this, because if we think about it, it's an area of evangelism, whereby
Mhm.
we all need to participate. So if you are free, when do you usually have your prayer meetings?
It depends. It depends.
Okay,
It's yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay. So people can go to the page, find details,
yeah.
join. because wherever two or more are gathered, and the more we begin to support each other to pray
Mm.
about things like this, the more God, makes a way and even gives that encouragement and that enlightenment, and you can begin to learn more, because it's difficult to learn all she knows within 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll encourage us all. I've put it in the chat. Feel free to reach out directly to her, and feel free to uh, contact her if you have any questions. So I have a very good contributions from my auntie and mom. She says, this topic affects us all, as man is very vulnerable when facing challenges. You're very right, man. And I think
Mm.
avoidance of that. Can I share one thing I found very interesting? We all
Mm.
know we would pass on one day, I would die if Jesus doesn't come. But I discovered that most times when people come in contact with a corpse, you see someone who has passed on, you see a different reaction. It's like we know it's inevitable for us, but when we
Mm.
see it, we just want to avoid it. That I don't want to think about it in this state. But I think this is one of those topics, as she said, it affects us all. Recession, there's a war going on in Ukraine, there's depression, people are losing jobs, there's IT, um, there's food shortages, cost
Oh.
of living is increasing.
Yeah.
People are getting more isolated because, like you said, people you trust are reducing. Um, all sorts are just going on and on. So this trend would continue, but the only way we can do it is by praying and being aware. So thank you so much, Emma. Do you have any sort of last words or thoughts to share on this topic?
Yeah, I was just. Is there? I'm quickly looking at the live chat. Is there
Mm,
something we? Is there a question what we don't have answer? What we have not answered,
okay.
or I don't
I
know.
think we've
Let's
answered.
or the topic. Okay, okay. No, I think there's not a question. We forget
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
So yeah, to so last word, yeah. Um, what is good for someone can be bad for another person.
Mm,
So I always go back. You have to find out who you are and what you need,
mm,
and we are all different. I'm not a person who, because if you go to psychiater or psycholog, often they will come with uh,
Medic.
you go sleep on the same hour, it will help every day. You eat good food, it will help you. You go visit some people, it will help. Well, it might help. I don't say that it doesn't help anybody, but you have to find out if this will help you, because if they give you advice about the food, for example, because we have to think also about our body. But if you are already the person always thinking about how uh, take healthy food, and it's your preoccupation for the whole day, then I will give an advice: just eat some bad food for a day and maybe it will deliver you. Yeah, that's the same with go to sleep. Yeah, you see,
Yeah.
you have to really see who is this person, what is the solution for this person. Same thing with going on the same time to bed. Yes, it's good to have structure and order in your life, especially if in the morning it's always the same hour you have to get up to get to school, to get to your work. But sometimes in the night hour, because of the silence, I don't know if you're a Christian who is listening now, right now, or not, God can start talking to you. So now
Mm,
you're sleeping because you have to go to bed at 10 p.m. But maybe God wants you to be awake. Or if you don't believe, it can be the silence of the night, but can be
mm,
healing, but or you even maybe you open the door and you go outside, you enjoy the night, you look the stars and the moons, and it can be a healing thing. So this is what I say. What is good for someone can be bad for someone else.
yeah,
So go, know who you are, and take care of yourself, your body, your mind, and your spirit. This is a
amen.
complete healing thing. Don't forget any of these aspects of it.
Yeah. Okay,
Maybe
thank you
that's
so
a good word.
yeah. And for me, the last 2 points I'll just raise, which we've been talking about, is the WHO listed a lot of about four things. And two of the things they mentioned are what we've covered, and which you've said without even saying this is fostering social emotional life skills in adolescents. So please let us not let us get close to the 15, 19-year-old, the adolescents. Let us begin to talk to them and help them and give them that support and encouragement that things would be better. And secondly, um, early identification, assessment, and management and follow up, which are things you've said already without even saying this. These are two of the four things WHO, that's the World Health Organization, has said. So, in conclusion, we want to thank you so much for sharing your testimony. It's not easy for people to come and share their personal testimony. And we thank you for sharing your testimony. We thank you for the knowledge and the things you've impacted on us. I'm sure a lot of people will be watching this later. For those watching this later, feel free to reach out and feel free to talk to
Yeah.
people who can help you about your challenge. Don't die in silence, like Emma said.
Express
Don't
yourself. Yeah.
express yourself. Remember who
Oh,
you are. You're a child of God.
yeah.
There will be challenges, but
Mhm.
together, you know, we can overcome some of these things together. Jesus
Yeah.
came to heal the brokenhearted, and that includes you. So God bless you all. See you next week and stay blessed. And thanks, Emma, once again. And thanks to everyone for contributing.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
God bless you.
Amen.